All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 100 Authors in 100 Days, a series where we deep dive into the stories behind the stories, exploring the lives, inspiration, aspirations, and journeys of authors and their creative works. And today, guess what? We have Refugio Atilano, who is the author of this powerful book called the Latino Leadership Playbook, a toolkit of insights to accelerate your impact in the workplace. And it is a fabulous read. I took a bunch of notes when I got it, and I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here, Refugio. How are you doing today?
Good, Adriana. Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing great, enjoying this Saturday, and looking forward to this conversation.
Awesome. So listen, I wasn't expecting when I got the book on Amazon, I wasn't expecting it to be so thorough. At first, I saw you because, as you know, we connected on LinkedIn, and I love your publisher, by the way. She's amazing. She does great work, and I promote her work. And wonderful that she was your publisher and helped you create this. When I bought it and I was looking through it, I got to tell you, it was amazing the level of work and detail that you put into this. The people that endorsed you, absolutely incredible. I mean, you've got an incredible network. And I want to share today, and I want the viewers and the audience to learn a little bit more about why you wrote the book, what the story is behind the book. And then as we go along, let's just, do a deep dive. So people, number one, get to know you and get to know about this brilliant work. So tell us a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you. So about the book, and then, I've done a lot of these talks, and so today we'll talk definitely about the book, but I also want to talk about the path forward, which is now more important than ever. The reason why I wrote the book, plain and simple, is because it was needed for Latino professionals. Just to recap, we're almost 20% of the population and growing. That's the key, in growing. So we're big here in the US. We have voting power, buying power, and a lot of influence. And so as we think about, connecting to that community going forward for this nation, we need Latino leaders at the top to connect with those communities. We're in the best position. We know the communities extremely well. We know our culture. We know how we operate. We know how we spend, et cetera. And so super critical that we have Latino leaders at the top. And just from a pure representation standpoint, we talk about the 20%, but only 4% or 5% are in senior level roles. And I even go deeper. I look at the middle management roles or senior middle management roles. It's still the same. It's like 4 or 5%. Mm-hmm. And even at my level, I'm director, and I look around and there's not many of us. And so it's really that middle pipeline that we need to fill with talent. And just by pure, personal experience, by coaching and mentoring and seeing the frustrations out there. On different podcasts I hear, we need mentors and sponsors. We need to advocate. I kept hearing the same themes. And, I just want to be honest, I want to put an end to those discussions. I want to change those discussions. I want to talk about why I didn't get, instead of why I didn't get that job, to what job am I going to get next?
Yeah.
And so it's really, I'm trying to change the culture to a culture of leadership, a culture of excellence. Mm-hmm. And so when I put this book together, to your point, it's very thorough. I wanted to make sure when I put this book together, it had everything a Latino needed, really anybody, not just Latinos, but everything you needed to be a strong leader in the workplace and to reach your max potential. I'm not saying everybody's going to be CEO, but whatever your max potential is, this book will set you up exactly to do that. There are no more excuses. It says everything you need and then some.
Yes, I absolutely love it. So this is why I wanted to, do the interview, and I was so excited when I got it because I was looking through it and I was thinking, oh, this isn't just another book about the statistics, because both of us know the stats, right? We are one of the biggest consumers in the United States. We're the fastest growing in terms of entrepreneurship, and we're really sustaining the United States in terms of its economy as Latinos. Okay, so we're so powerful. And this book isn't just about the data, but it's about the process that you can implement right now to get into a position of influence, so then you can have influence within the community and then in the United States, in the corporations, just in general. So when I started looking through the chapters and started seeing the ideas and the concepts, like, it's so key to step by step. I've never seen that in a book. Like, I've read the stories of like the Latino entrepreneur or the Latino business professional, and then it's great and it's lovely. I love those books, and I publish a lot of those books. But this book goes beyond that. So that's why I really appreciate you and that you took the leadership role in writing something like this, because this is a gem. This is such a gem, and it's so much needed. And I love the whoever did the cover did an amazing job, by the way. And it's just something that every corporation, I believe, should implement in whatever ERG program they have going on, and to look at this. And I want to bring up also this idea that we were talking about earlier before we went live, and that was this question and this question that we want to touch on today, and is how to use our Latino superpowers to our advantage. And I believe that that's a really powerful question, because this book can help answer that. So do you want to elaborate a little bit on how we can use our superpowers, and discuss what you believe the superpowers are that the Latino community already has that we may or may not know we have?
Yeah, and thank you for bringing it up. So, I was telling you right before we went live that the Latino superpowers, really cultural superpowers for any culture, Bollywood Latinos, obviously. It's a hidden gem, to be honest. For instance, we have the like Latinos are strong leaders that need to be carved out. It's almost like this undeveloped talent. And so when I broke it down, it came down to our superpowers. So, for example, as Latinos, we're very family oriented. We're very collaborative and team oriented. That's where we're raised, right? We grew up in big families. I still have a big family here in Chicago. There's 70 of us probably around there, 4 generations. But it's all about family. And we don't advocate for we don't brag. We don't get to we don't spotlight ourselves. That's not how we're built. But that's a natural superpower. So you go into the workplace, for instance. And I always use this example. Me, for example, I lead global programs and global teams, and so right away I use my natural superpower as a collaborator, as a team-oriented person, to connect with others across the world. And because of my culture, I connect with other cultures very well too. So it's first thing I do is develop relationships before any business. I lean into, hey, tell me about yourself, tell me about your family, tell me about your culture, and let me learn. What are some things I can do to connect with you. Once you get that relationship down, business is easy. And so that's because of how we're raised. And even within the ERG I lead at my current company, at AbbVie. And by the way, this is all my own. I have to put the disclaimer. This is not, AbbVie does not, has nothing to do with this talk. But even within my ERG, it's all family, right? And it's family at work. It's how we support each other, how we back each other up, how we provide opportunities for each other. But so anyhow, that one superpower, the collaboration, family oriented, it translates to the work environment so well. Even within the non-Latino population, like I said, when I lead projects and programs, even with I'll just say the white community, they see I bring a strong sense of relationship and a strong sense of passion and family. To be honest, even within my project teams, I'm very particular. I should say particular. I'm very those relationships are very important to me, and they see it, and that's part of my brand and something I get recognized for. The other part is Latinos. I won't go through all the superpowers. I hit on 3 or 4 of these, but passion,
Yes.
right? I'm extremely passionate. Adriana, I know you're extremely passionate about what you do, and bring that passion to work. Not everybody shows that and has that. We can lead with conviction. If we believe in something, man, we go for it. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, I'm not saying being reckless with passion and go crazy, but what I am saying is pick something you're passionate about and drive it with conviction, with thoughtfulness. And again, those are the things that stand out in organizations and to your peers. Just really, really attractive from a professional leadership standpoint. And then the other thing I'll talk about too is really around storytelling. As Latinos, we love stories, and Adriana, I know you were sharing some stories, right? And I'll share another story beyond this, but storytelling. Take that that personal storytelling element and put that in business. Tell a business story. When you sell new ideas, the leaders, the senior leaders who are going to actually support it and sponsor it and fund it, they want to hear the story. Tell them, start at the beginning. Walk them through the story and tell them at the end what they're going to get out of it. The better you are at storytelling, and the better and the more articulate you are, and the stronger communicator you are, those are the things that get your ideas supported, they get you recognized, and those are the things that get you promoted and sponsored by VPs and above.
Mhm.
So it all ties together. Take these superpowers that you don't know we have, think about them, examine them, how they can operate within the context of your role or your organization, and then drive those things.
Mhm.
For a full set of all the superpowers, please get the book.
Mhm.
There's a section on it how to leverage the your superpowers. I think it's like chapter 10 or somewhere in there. But really go deep on it and examine it and figure out ways to implement them in your work.
Yes, I love it. And so, of course, both of us know that there's like a list of superpowers, but those are the ones that you mentioned are really powerful because a lot of times, Latinos ourselves, we don't realize that storytelling is a superpower. And I always knew that I had the gift, but I didn't perceive it as a superpower. I just thought, oh, I'm Latina. This is just normal. And it's like, no, not everybody is a good storyteller. And so that's what always made me a really good business person because as you mentioned earlier, it's all about building the rapport in the beginning. It's all about building that connection, and then you go and build through story the even deeper connection. And so, in essence, it's really that's the essence of business if you're doing business correctly, right? But I
And let me
love
just
that, and that you mentioned that. Go ahead.
yeah, I'll say let me jump in there too. What's interesting is sometimes when I interact, especially on a new project, when I meet somebody for the first time, some of the non-Latino colleagues, some of the white colleagues want to get right into business, for instance.
Hmm.
And again, as a superpower, I bring that relationship aspect into the equation. So, I want to get to know them personally. So again, those are the things that set you apart. It's a little thing, but it's a big impact thing. And
Hmm.
you'll see in the book, I talk about impact. All these little nuggets I give you is in the spirit of adding impact for your career and your leadership journey. So, I'll sort of
Hmm.
throw that in there.
I love it. And both of us know at the end of the day, it's impact. How are you impacting? And another thing that I appreciate about the book is that it isn't just for Latinos. This is
Right.
one not written for Latinos. It was written for anybody who's in business who wants to and sees the value of the Latino community and sees the data. Because I love Sol Trujillo always says data drives thinking. And I love that because if you're a business person and you're looking at the data, you see that you can take a book like this and really learn the ins and outs of the Latino community and the strategy for, as you say, carving out the leadership, performance and carving out the excellence in the Latino leader. Like you will do good in business. It doesn't matter what industry, because the numbers will reflect that if you build Latino leaders right now, because we're purchasing all the products. We're developing all
Right.
the businesses. So anybody who's in business who does not realize that right now will be surprised by, I say, a rude awakening when they're like, "Oh, we haven't tapped into the Latino market or tapped into the Latino talent." And so this is a beautiful resource, a great resource for anybody building a business or already in business who really wants a real game plan. And I appreciate you for doing it. I'm excited to just finish it and go through it all. So what are
Yeah.
go ahead. I don't want to cut you
I
off.
was going to say, you made a good point with, data drives thinking.
Hmm.
And, what's interesting is, I've been to a lot of conferences. I heard a lot of, the data. It's always, we lead with the data, which is great. Everybody's getting organized around the data and it does drive thinking. It drives direction. What I focus on is driving action. And
Mm, I
specifically,
love it.
developing, like I said, this culture of leadership and this next generation of Latino leaders. Um, I'm already going to assume everybody knows the data. I know it's a bad assumption, but I'm going to assume that just for the sake of for assuming that. But what I wanted to do is drive action, drive awareness, drive the skills and the step by step needed to develop ourselves.
Hmm.
The more we develop ourselves, the more we fill that talent pipeline. Then at that point in time, it's game on, and Latinos can get to the top, make hopefully be in these C-suite levels, these board levels, and help make decisions that are going to bring more Latinos along with them.
Hmm. So I have a question regarding, so you put the book together, there's great content in here, and the data and the process and the strategy. So are you doing any personal programs yourself that will help a young leader become that person who will be available in the pipeline to then get promoted? Like, are you creating any of those programs now? And tell me a little bit about that if you are.
Yeah. So for me, the book was step one. Getting the insights. The insights is the product. That's the secret sauce, and the book is just a delivery method. what I'm working on this year is two things. One is I'm developing a leadership program for corporations.
Hmm.
So my goal is to begin developing Latino talent. So again, we can reach those senior level roles. And it's all based on the concepts of the book. So for instance, we're going to go deep on the mindset shift,
Hmm.
how to advocate for yourself, how to think boldly, how to think strategically about your career and how to leverage your superpowers. And then I get into the leadership elements, executive presence, which to be honest, is a big one. Being a strong communicator, knowing how to leverage and obtain mentors and sponsors, being politically savvy. All these are extremely important as you navigate your career in the workplace. And these are the things that get you noticed, advanced, and hopefully reaching your full potential. The second program I'm running is a college level program. So I'm working with 8 universities across the nation, the elites as well as HSIs. And it's in the spirit of getting Latinos and Latinas workplace ready. For instance, today when Latinos, they in college they study their core work, whatever it is, so it's accounting or marketing, whatever it is, they come in and that's what they're focused on, which they should be. But I'm taking it a step further. I'm giving them real life insights, real life experience as far as what to expect in the workplace
Hmm.
when you get there, how to navigate around, how to add impact outside of your position, and how to align yourselves with influential leaders within your organization, and how to recognize that and scan the environment for those things. So
Hmm.
it's really showing up to the workplace a lot different than today, where we have no clue. Whereas in the future, you're going to know exactly what to do, how to do it, and who to do it with. And so that's going to be the power of that program. Um,
Hmm.
this year is all about testing these programs and making sure I get it right. And I want to show the data. Shows, for instance, on the corporate side, I want to say, hey, X amount went to the program, X amount showed mobility. So whether it's promotions, laterals, sponsored special assignments, sponsored is the key because that means people are believing in you.
Yes.
Whether you're getting, VP, I say mentors and sponsors. That means you're attracting senior leaders in your organization. I want to show the data that shows that the needle starts moving upward because of these programs. On the college side, I want to show that, hey, you're landing your first priority, role into industry.
Hmm.
I want to show that, once you're within that role, that you're adding value outside of that role and adding impact for your organization. And even developing their confidence and and being informed. I'm going to run surveys just to show how the needle is moving and the confidence grows as a result of my program. So I'm making it a very data driven experience, but at the same time, it's a strong leadership experience.
This is wonderful. Just everything that you're touching on is a program that I wish I would have had when I was in the corporate world. The first time when I left the military and I went into the corporate world, I had no
Mhm.
idea. I was making
Right.
great money and I had no idea what a sponsor was. I had no idea how to move up the, chain of command. Well, that's more military, but the corporate ladder, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't even know that there was such a thing as getting a mentor, because within my family structure and at the dinner tables growing up, we didn't talk about those things. Like my
Hmm.
dad wasn't sitting around the table saying, you should find a mentor at work. He was like, saying other things that had nothing to do with, the progression of my career or how life was really going to play out for me as a Latina
Mhm.
in the corporate world. So the fact that you even have this strategy, and then I'm thinking this is like a blueprint, right? Like a
Right.
blueprint of the programs that you're launching, as we speak, and that you're collecting data for, that will definitely serve the greater good of the corporations to begin to acknowledge the talent that's already there, but it has not been tapped into yet. And so, man, I wish I would have had a program like that. And I commend you for putting it together and taking the leadership role and just making it happen. And I love how when you say taking action, because a lot of people talk about it and they complain about what's not happening and what we're not seeing and how the data is so bad and like how the statistics don't, and X, Y, and Z. But both of us know that it's like we're done with that. We need to
Mhm.
take action and then do it either ourselves or put together whatever we need to put together to move the needle. So I commend you for that, and I want to thank you for taking a moment this Saturday morning to to discuss your book and to do a little deep dive on this. I do recommend that everybody go to his webpage, look at his programs, buy the book. Whether you're Latino or not, this book is for you if you're in business. And if you want to tap into the Latino market, this book is for you. And to reach out to Refugio as well. All his information will be in the link below, and connect with him directly and get some more information, especially if you're in ERGs or running communities, Latino communities, and you want to learn how to develop stronger leaders. So I'll leave the final words to you, Refugio, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I'll leave with kind of what's my theme for this year is be a big deal. And you just said it, I think I even quoted Pitbull in my book, we can't just talk about it. You got to be about it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. You do have to be about it. So that means take bold action, work on big things at work, don't just, from an ERG perspective, for instance, you can have events like, giving away whatever, or running a food event, or you can run strategic initiatives for your organization. Use Latinos to plug into the business and drive business. Those are big things, right?
Mm.
So when you raise your hand for the big things, own those big things, and then drive those things. Be a big deal, make noise, and not just be loud, but really business noise. Tie into your goals, tie into the business results. Align yourself with highly influential leaders. That is being a big deal. That's moving the needle, and that'll get you standing out and hopefully accelerating in the workplace. So thank you, Adriana.
I love it. Thank you so much. So listen, you are a big deal. I think you're a big deal, and let's all be a big deal. Thank you everyone for connecting with us today at 100 Authors in 100 Days. I look forward to hearing from you, and Refugio also looks forward to hearing from you too. Reach out to him and check out his book. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.